Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron, this is a part 3. I think it is. We're just discussing some classic Christian books and authors. You know, sometimes it'll be a book itself, sometimes it'll be authors. A lot of these I've read, some of them I haven't. I just know they're classics. Other people that I respect really like them. I'm thinking of Through Gates of Splendor by Elizabeth Elliot. They say that's an amazing book, but I have never read that. But The Christian in Complete Armor by Gurnall, 3-volume set of what I've got. I may have a couple volumes of that, but that is just classic. If you want to know what it means to put on the whole armor of God, Gurnall's, I think it's from 1689, classic is really a place to go. You may want to comment on some of these or all these down in the comments below. Evangelism Explosion by Kennedy. Now, what was fascinating with that is D. James Kennedy, Presbyterian. So a lot of times Presbyterians are not known for exactly evangelism, but Evangelism Explosion really encouraged people to go out and share what they had with Jesus. Another one, a brother at church reminded me of this the other day, Calvary Road by Roy Hession. And how he reminded me, he had another book written by Hession that he said, here, read this quote. And it was phenomenal. He was so stunned by it. He just was, rejoicing. He couldn't really get away. It was amazing. That is a great book. Calvary Road by Roy Hession. I think normally put out by Christian Literature Crusade. They're a great publisher, if they're even still around. Sold books for a lot of years. Deeper Life of Famous Christians by J. Gilchrist Lawson. The Deeper Life of Famous Christians. Excellent book. As a matter of fact, I just found it in my library the other day. Somebody had recommended it on one of the previous videos here. That's a great book as well. The Deeper Life of Famous Christians. Because they didn't just become what they became. They had a deep prayer life and walk with the Lord. One of my personal favorites, and it's stunning if you can ever get your hands on it, What's Wrong with the Movies by John R. Rice, written in 1938, talking about all of the mental health issues and social problems put out by movies in 1938. This is after the Hays Code, because movies had gotten so debauched in the 1920s and Prohibition was going around. America was very Christian, that they had, look, we've got to close down the movie theaters. And so they were setting up commissions, shut down movie theaters all around America. Hayes, a Presbyterian minister, came up with a code of ethics. It was in force at least till 68. Liz Taylor had something to do, like in 61 movie, where she kind of broke down somewhere around 61. But What's Wrong with the Movies by John R. Rice, if you want to just see a historical moment in time, that's the one to do it. If by Amy Carmichael, missionary classic, unbelievable. What can I say more about that? The next two are by John Bunyan. The first one is maybe the best-selling book in human history besides the Bible, is Pilgrim's Progress. Watching Christian make it to the holy city, the sloth of despair, so many things. They've been coming out with movies about that too. Haven't seen a movie on it. Holy War by Bunyan as well. Absolutely fantastic. Recommended Christian classics. The next is just an author, and it's Louis Sperry Schaefer. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't he have something to do with founding like Dallas Theological Seminary? And, he would have just been considered a bastion of relatively conservative Christian dogma and theology up until, your John Walvards and Charles Ryrie's came, your Wilmingtons. And then the next two's father and son duo is Charles Hodge and A.A. Hodge. Again, a lot of conservative theology. I think they may have taught at Princeton and just kind of tried to preserve what they felt were some historic Christian truths. Of course, I'd have some disagreements with them. And along those same lines is B.B. Warfield. Is it Benjamin Barfield Warfield? I don't remember. But B.B. Warfield, again, A lot of battles, even in the early part of the 20th century, late 19th century, on the Bible, inspiration of the Bible. Warfield would have helped fight those battles. One of my personal favorite writers is Alfred Edersheim. He not only did The Life and Times of Jesus the Messiah, which is amazing. If you haven't read it, if you want to understand what was going on in the Holy Land in the time surrounding Jesus, he's the best that I know of. Alfred Edersheim, converted Jew to a form of Christianity, but he also did like the Tabernacle, his ministry and services, and did like a commentary on the Bible set as well. Fantastic. Jonathan Edwards, I've read multiple times. Used to could get it. I don't know if you still can. I actually passed it out in church one time. Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God by Jonathan Edwards. I've since found out that he evidently was at a oneness guy's church preaching that. And he was so mad he was preaching at a oneness guy's church. Now, Edwards was accused of being a Sabellian at portions of his life, but he was not. Then Matthew Henry, absolutely fantastic. Henry Bible Commentary, considered to be the staple. If you only get one Bible commentary, a lot of people would recommend it be Matthew Henry. Somebody that's fallen off the wagon that was basically equal to Henry in the 1800s is Thomas Scott. And a lot of the old family Bibles, if you get old family Bibles from 1800, they'll have Thomas Scott's commentary in there. I think you can still find it places. I'm not sure why he fell out of favor with publishing. And then John Brown's Reference Bible, not the John Brown who did the insurrection in the 1850s or whenever that was, but there was another Brown self-interpreting Bible. Unreal. Got that. I really enjoy a lot in that. Just a little bit more. Philip Doddridge was evidently a oneness guy in the 1700s, but Spurgeon really liked Doddridge, and he was massive in the American colonies and the American states, like, you know, through the 1800s primarily. He had like the Family Bible Expositor, and he was fantastic. Isaac Newton, another non-Trinitarian, but he wrote more on the Bible than he did on science and optics and calculus. Fantastic. And we'll stop here with James Ussher. Ussher's Annals of the World. You can still get that, I think, from Master's book. It's phenomenal. I've given that away to people over the years. And then he's got one on doctrine. They said by the time he was 19, he had already beaten in debate the top Jesuit in Ireland. And they've gotten a letter now, communication, that the King James translators had actually communicated with him on the Bible, King James Bible. But Ussher, but his body of divinity, not Gill's, but Ussher's, I didn't care for it. I got it. I was like, it's not nearly as good as his Annals of the World. So put in the description, I mean in the comments, the books you like, books that have impacted you. A lot of mine is not going to be the latest and greatest. A lot of mine is classic Christian books and authors. So God bless. We appreciate you watching. Talk with you later in Jesus' name.